Hello YouTube, I'm back again with another rant video. This is actually going to be separate from all the other rant videos. This is going to be me talking about like what people in general are possibly doing, who have nothing better to do with their lives, who are on dating apps and get catfished. My thoughts on this, actually, let's be real. I feel this world is kind of brain dead, to be real. Like, a lot of people would rather meet people online rather than in person. What I mean by that is, like, I feel personally is that it's a lot safer if you meet someone within your community that you can develop your feelings with rather than online, because that person, all that all that entire conversation, all that trust you built it with that person is gonna fade eventually, because you don't know who behind that screen you're talking to, because in these days it can be anybody, and it's never smart. Trust me. How I know it's never smart? Because yeah, there are people who succeed, but you're all 100% always taking the risk of getting catfish. And it doesn't have to be like the person that you're meeting is somehow the person that you weren't expecting to look a certain way. They're not the person. It doesn't mean the person's gonna look a certain way that you've been hoping that they be that kind of person. Like, overall appearance, they may have attractive body, a very young looking face, because that's the habit a lot of these men are falling into. And I'm trying to point out some like hints. I'm trying to point out some advice. I'm trying to point out some clues as to how you know you are getting catfished. One, people will prefer not to FaceTime you. They don't try to use the actual voice. If anything, at times they'll have somebody talk for you. They never even communicate with you, like using their own voice, using audio. That's the one thing these guys always seem to never understand. If you're gonna meet somebody, they have to be willing to show their face as well as being able to use audio. And it's gotten to the point that it doesn't surprise me. These men are very desperate. It doesn't just apply to men; it applies to women. But regularly, you don't see women fall for this stuff, this kind of act. You don't really see women go through all sorts of love issues or have trouble actually finding somebody that they can be in a relationship with. It's mainly men that have the issue with relationships, simply because they're not an outgoing person. They tend to be lethargic, lazy, or incompetent, lack of confidence, low self-esteem. So sometimes they'll stoop as low, sometimes to go after someone who's more vulnerable. And I'm not going to say, you pretty much know what I'm talking about. But people never. It's like, yeah, people. I'm sure there are people who do learn, but you would think by now, from the amount of news reports, it doesn't have to be on worldwide news. I'm talking about news, that incidents where people have been caught up in catfishing, and it makes you look stupid. Honestly, it makes you look very stupid. Me personally, I never feel that I need to attempt to do this. One, because you don't know who is behind that screen. That, because most of the time people tend to be posing as somebody, especially think of it as this, like an anime character, cosplayer, whatever. It's simple as that. Like, and people need to think logically when it comes to these situations, because it seems like they're so desperate now they don't think, or they feel like their brain does not exist. They forget their brain. That's why it's important to use your brain, because you can also be saving your life. And I'm not even exaggerating, because I've heard there are several instances, because I don't know if these men have been paying attention. A lot of these men were using the like online dating sites. They fail to realize so bad that it's gone to the point where men who have been catfished either get robbed by a group of guys, or they find out that's not the person they meet. It's either someone a lot older, or someone like who's trying to leech off their finances, and they regret it 100%. But I don't know. I'm not gonna really go into their lifestyle. I'm not gonna go predict whether they continue. That's up to them. But that's just simply, it's best if when I do this video, that maybe the younger generation can learn from this, and feel safe about this. So I'm pretty sure I'm educating them right now. So, but again, it's ridiculous. It's beyond far-fetched. I just don't understand why anybody would attempt to date online when it's simply when it's simply just meet people in person within your area. Because just be there might be like let's be real. There's always gonna be attractive women. There may be someone in real life that you know that you might approach who's far more attractive than the people you see on the internet. And that's what I'm trying to get, because it just doesn't make any sense why people would stoop as low, not even stoop as low, but be so desperate to meet somebody online. When I'm not even sure if they know for sure. Can't even guarantee they're even using their brain if they're thinking straight. But how can you tell that person is the actual person that you're communicating with? How can you tell this person to be being really real honest with you if they're being really honest? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Just it may not happen to you right now. Maybe like people there are people who said they when they had attempted this, they've been in actual relationships. It succeeded. It went well. But the thing is, it is never smart. That's what I'm trying to make. Because, like I said, it is not worth the risk. Because because a lot of these men are full of love struck. They feel they can't find anybody better in real life, so they would rather approach someone online, meet them, tell them where to meet, and you know what's funny? They actually listen to what the women, the so-called women, are saying on the internet. They're agreeing with most of what they're saying, telling them where to meet up. They all because they've been giving them several compliments. Oh, and you'd be like, oh, and this is how these men think. Let's be real. What 100% of these men think? I feel like this girl might be interested in me, and now's my chance. I might get laid. So, but that isn't always the case, bro. But again, because this is what happens when you're constantly on your computer, you don't think. When it comes to using the computers, trust me, I've never even wanted to meet somebody online, because I always thought it was very suspicious and shady, because you don't know what they want from you at the end of the day. You don't know what they want from you, because you always think, oh, just because they're being nice, that somehow makes them trustworthy. That shows how gullible that dude really is. She, I could be bashing women too. There are women that do that, but barely do women ever try, would even be stupid enough to put themselves risk, because they know how to actually attract men. Like you see on the internet, I don't have to explain it. You see on the internet, they pose, they look good, they dress up, they do a lot of makeup, and let's be honest, they use a lot of surgery, and they try to make their lips big. But like, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with trying to be in an intimate relationship. Nothing wrong with it at all. But the whole point is that it gets to the point now people aren't even smart anymore. They don't try to be smart about it. And I'm pretty sure there are people who've done several videos saying, bro, do not attempt this. Do not. And then they fail to see the red flags. And I guarantee you, they fail to see the red flags, especially online. They don't look at on their computer. They don't notice, like, by simply reading text, or by the fact that the person there that is catfishing them, they're being very suspicious. How I know is because they're not willing to talk with you using audio. They're not willing to use FaceTime. They don't have use they're not willing to put on their face cam. And those are the red flags. They should be worried about that. They should be. They're not. I don't remember a time where a guy that tries to meet up with a woman, or whether it's a girl, young woman, whatever, even question them if this is like a setup. And very rarely, unless this person happens to be popular, you rarely hear this fucking dolt even try to ask whether this is set up or if they're a cop. But either way, that's my thoughts. But again, these men need to try to work on themselves instead of immediately trying to get a woman to be interested in you. Why don't you try to prove yourself first? Try and get in shape. Try to find some hobbies before deciding you want to be in a serious relationship, because being in a serious relationship takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of developing. It takes a lot of interaction. So That's what these men fail to realize. That's the only way you will succeed in being in a relationship. If you take the time to actually interact with that person in real life. That's what I was just saying from the beginning. It's always best to meet someone because they might be the right, they might be the perfect. Not even, they could be the perfect fit, but they could be the right fit either. But like, you may not have everything in common, but you might have a lot in common. So you can also be able to communicate. You can show them around. It's convenient. Take them home. They can come to your place, hang out, have dinner, and do whatever you want. Because I guarantee most of the we should all know this by now. A lot of these times, these guys, the reason why these guys are such a sucker for this situation is because they want to get laid in bed with these women. That's all there is to it. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to wait for more upcoming content later in the future. Be sure to check your notifications. Comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.